Hi, I'm Anna. I've run multi-day ultramarathons. I've raced 5Ks, 10Ks, halves, and even run a marathon in my back garden. But now I'm taking on possibly the biggest challenge yet. 3 months ago, I gave birth to my beautiful daughter, Aoife, and now it's time to get back to running. I'm so excited, but really nervous. This is my first run back, so let's see how it goes. Okay, wait, before we get to the running part, there was quite a lot of legwork to do to get me to this stage, quite literally. So let me just give you a recap of how I went from being a new mum to starting running again. So the recommended advice is to not start back up with running until you're at least 12 weeks postpartum. This is for a number of different reasons, including things like ab separation and changes to your pelvic floor through pregnancy, but also in birth as well. Now, personally, I ended up having an emergency C-section, so pretty severe abdominal surgery, which you then have to take time to recover from as well. So you've got the scarring that needs to heal properly before you can even think about going out and running, and just in general recovering from a major operation, which, you know, if it was any other kind of operation, you'd do the same. Once I felt recovered, I tried to do lots of short walks, but it can be really hard as an active person going from doing lots of activities to none. So I tried to forget what the old me did and then focus on what I could do, and built up with walks with Aoife and my dog Ralph.
Another thing that's really helped with building routines is going swimming. Now, it's something that I've loved doing for most of my life actually, but it was good to be able to get back to it because I was able to start swimming before I got back into running because it's lower impact. So every Friday morning I've managed to carve out some me time to stick to it, which has actually really helped to build a routine as well, and I'm hoping to stick to it when I get back to running as well.
Strength and conditioning has also had to make a comeback ahead of getting back into running so that I can get as strong as I possibly can. As a personal trainer, I do really understand the importance of building up this strength, so it was top of my fitness goals. Plus, it was really nice to exercise in group classes again. So in order to be able to do all of these activities, I needed to make sure that I was ready to get back into running. So I had a GP checkup at 6 weeks, but also I decided to book myself a private women's physio appointment for what's called a mummy MOT to check that I would be ready to get back to running. So I did that also at 6 weeks, and then a follow-up appointment 6 weeks later to find out whether I would be ready to run or not. Now, everybody's different and recovery takes a different amount of time for everyone. I actually felt really nervous for this 12-week appointment because it was a bit like taking an exam that I can't really revise for, but I was just really hoping that my body was ready to run again because my mind definitely was. So the main areas to check that it's okay to get back to running would be ab separation. So during pregnancy and also birth, your abs can separate, which can cause some issues when it comes to using your core when you're running. The other area is also your pelvic floor. So it's never too late to get your pelvic floor checked out. You don't have to just do it straight after birth. You might be a couple of years down the line, but if you are having pelvic floor issues, then do go see a women's physiotherapist to get that checked out. And then finally, looking at balance. So during pregnancy, I found that my centre of gravity was in a completely different place to normal. My balance was all over the shop, and it was still the same after I'd given birth as well, because my body had been in a completely different position for 10 months of being pregnant. And so it's sort of about just making your body more aware, your proprioception, figuring out how your body is moving again, because to all intents and purposes, it does feel like you've got a new body. Best day ever, cleared to run. Okay, so no ultras for me for a while, but first run back. The watch is charged, the shoes are on. I'm so excited. I've got a plan that I'm going to stick to so I don't do too much too soon. Very much like a couch to 5K with run walk strategies. Let's go. So this first run back is 4 minutes of walking, and look, 1 minute of running. I'm running. I think you can tell from the smile on my face what an exciting day this is for me. At the moment, touch wood, it feels okay. I think because we're breaking it into chunks of running, this 1 minute feels totally manageable. That first minute of running felt quite alien, I think. It felt like I was running very slowly. I just wanted to go at a pace that felt comfortable. I definitely feel like I've lost some of my fitness, and I guess my body felt a little bit alien in a way. It felt a little bit like it wasn't my own body, and I could definitely feel the area around the scar where I had my C-section felt quite heavy and a little bit sort of pulley, which was to be expected. I was told that would probably happen, and definitely something to keep an eye on over the next 48 hours before then attempting to run again.
This run-walk strategy feels really manageable, and that's the main thing, I think, because you don't want to rush and do too much too soon, and it can be so tempting that, well, I used to run, I can run 5k, 10k, a marathon, but I can't at the moment, and it's just really good to remember that by putting these walking breaks in, just to keep ticking over and get ready to run again. So my running goals at the moment are really loose because I don't know how much I can get out to run. I don't know how consistent I can stay with my training. But what I do know is that I've wiped the slate clean when it comes to PBs. So anything now that I run will be a PB, a post-baby personal best.
Have you come back to running from being postpartum, or maybe an injury or major surgery? Let us know how it went in the comments below, or if you've got any questions about it.
Run! Done! Oh, it feels so good to be able to say that. It's just really exciting for me now to be able to build up through the distances, work on my fitness, and just have my passion of running back again. Those 3 months of not running post-birth, and a couple of months beforehand as well, because I was too pregnant and it didn't feel right. It felt like a very long time. So yeah, I feel quite emotional to have completed my run. On to the next.
So like with any training plan, there's obviously been some ups and downs along the way in the first few weeks of training. Some days it's really hard to fit in a run, to be able to have the time to myself to go out and do it. Other times there's the mum guilt of not wanting to leave Aoife behind and do something for myself. But I know that it's really important for me and for my family so that I get that headspace and so that I can be a better mum as well. There have still been some really, really positive glimpses through this journey where I can kind of just see my old self coming back. So the first 5 weeks of training kind of looked a little bit like some run walking, building up to my first continuous run, aiming to get out 3 times a week, which yeah, I kind of have managed and kind of haven't. There have been some weeks where it's not really gone to plan, and that's for a number of reasons, but mostly due to timings and being able to have someone watch Aoife while I go out and run. I know it's going to be so much easier once she's a bit older and she can go in the running buggy though. Really can't wait for that.
Welcome to week 6 of my plan. I am just out on a continuous run, which feels a little bit weird to not have those walk breaks, but pretty confident with where my fitness is at from working through the weeks of this plan that I can get this 5k run done, no bother. If you've got any tips, let me know, and make sure you've subscribed because we'll be making a video of it, of course. I don't care what time I do it in, the aim is just to finish. I can't wait for that feeling of crossing the finish line again though.